On the night of January 22, as the rest of the nation seemed busy with, come on, you know what, Manipur was looking at the sky as officials of the Ministry of Home Affairs reached Imphal to start the much-needed talks to save Manipur from further violence. 2 days later, almost 35 or over half of the MLAs from the Manipur Assembly had a discussion with Arambai Tenggol over the next course of action. And of course, it goes without saying that among the MLAs who were meeting the Arambai Tenggol, there are no Kuki MLAs. In fact, I will go a bit further and say that at this time, they are Kuki MLAs, but hardly MLAs from Manipur. I'm pretty sure that Imphal is not on their travel list, and with Arambai Tenggol now becoming mainstream in more ways than one, it is pretty clear that the Kuki leadership is not going to get any audience in the capital anytime soon. But they are still Manipur MLAs, which brings me to the questions: where is Manipur headed in 2024? What exactly does the peace process look like, and how will we even talk about peace without ensuring action against those who benefited from stoking the fire? Pursuing for months.
Rural village of Assam
in the 75th Independence Day.
Farmers shot for farming? Check. Water bodies polluted on purpose? Check. Civilians killed for speaking up? Check. Police accused of being partisan? Check. State government accusing central forces of not being decisive enough? Check. Now add to this the cancellation of what was once a feather in India's diplomacy, the free movement regime, despite protests from Manipur, Nagaland and Mizoram. It is fair to say that the year started exactly like the way it ended for Manipur. Bloody, painful and with no peace in sight. But amid all this, and you have to be a real optimist to believe this, there was at least some consolation when the Manipur CM called for an all-party meet. I mean, it took only the death of a few hundred people and the displacement of tens of thousands of people, but it seems finally Manipur's leaders are at least acting like they care. But once again, I would like to remind our viewers that making claims is far easier than addressing them, and in Manipur, addressing issues will be a challenge hitherto not witnessed in the tumultuous history of the state or all of the Northeast for that matter. At this point, both Meiteis and Kukis, whether we are talking about the leadership or the civil society organizations, are convinced that they are not wrong. It is the other party that is to be blamed for all the misery. Kukis think Meiteis are trying to undermine them in more ways than one. Meiteis think Kukis are out to destroy Meiteis, Manipur and all of Northeast. Worryingly, the situation is no different at the political level too. Even though Biren Singh called out for an all-party meeting, there was no mention or even talk about the presence of Kuki leadership. For Biren Singh and his allies, only Meitei and Naga leadership matters. The Kukis do not exist. As for Kukis, they frankly have 10 times more hope, and perhaps rightly so, from the Mizoram leadership. Also, for the Meiteis, every tribal spokesperson is essentially a militant in disguise, but Arambai Tenggol is defending the interests of the Meiteis. Similarly, Kukis are convinced that every time someone from their side fires a bullet, it is in self-defense and never as a form of attack. And the gap between both sides is so big right now that, frankly speaking, it seems Kashmir is an easier issue to resolve than Manipur. And that is clear when we look at the demands made by the Arambai Tenggol.
Ano ngasi moy ako'y nangarang point taruk pibo do. Masulo thokpa, aday di NRC sanan ba, aday Assam Rifle lang thokpa. Hari ba mayama ba ako'y na point mga truk taruk ko yung mani pibo do. Ado do moy loy na mag amata si tada ngasi sign tawre. Chief Minister masa. Honorable Chief Minister masamak sur sign tawre. Honorable Chief Minister masamak su sign tawre ko. Ado center da moy thar ni athu bada. Ado ka nan ki Ministry of Home Affairs ki moy adai lakpa officer sing do. Moy na su yam issue je yam discuss tawe do. Moy na su gi je han khut hagani kaina di hai ko. Ado yin se. Ado ko akoi gi di akoi na uning gi se. Arambai na kasi uning gi se kain te gi na te. Makoi MLA minister punamak Chief Minister sumangare Honorable ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥꯗ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯦꯁꯦ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯍꯟꯕꯗꯨꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯥꯝꯃꯤꯁꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯥꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯗꯦꯜꯂꯤꯗ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯗ ꯂꯩ ꯄꯣꯔꯣ ꯂꯣꯠꯄꯗꯣ ꯉꯁꯤꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯗꯦꯜꯂꯤꯗ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯐꯪ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏ
Arambai Tenggol on Wednesday reiterated the demand for the NRC with 1951 as the cutoff year. Why 1951? Because, well, the older the base year, the easier it is to catch illegal immigrants. They have also asked for an end to the SOO and the end to the free movement regime. Now, the demand for NRC is not old, and let us be honest, every state in the northeast wants it, so in some ways, this demand is hardly a surprise. In fact, before the violence began in Manipur, we had already covered the NRC demand in detail, and you can watch the video by clicking the link below. As for the end of SOO, it is almost certain that the centre will either end the SOO or modify it substantially. And as the FMR is concerned, we did a detailed analysis of the same 2 weeks ago. So we request you to watch that video to get a clearer understanding. For now, Nagaland and Mizoram and even the NSA and IM have said that fencing is neither necessary nor desirable, and that the end of FMR is a violation of UN laws. Not to mention, the Northeast has not had a great experience with fencing, given that we are still trying our best to fence the Indo-Bangladesh border, and we are also well aware of how well that is going. But hey, nothing like a new challenge, right? Cannot fence a border where almost all territory is in the plains? Worry not. Now let us try to do that across a border where almost the entire territory is hilly. Because who does not want to make a new resolution for 2024? I am no expert of course, but to fence a border would mean the government would have to acquire land, and good luck trying to acquire land in the hills of Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland. As January comes to a close and we head into February, I can only imagine what the legal landscape of Manipur looks like. Hundreds dead, thousands displaced, family after family left torn apart from months of violence, and amid all that, a list of police complaints, FIRs, charge sheets and cases all ready to pile up. How will anyone get justice amid all this? To be honest, I do not know. I'm not sure if anybody knows. All I know is that despite what some might believe or advocate, shooting those who disagree with you or even those who break the law is not how democracy works. So even if someone has broken the law, they must be first put on trial, convicted and then punished. So in all this, how will a Kuki resident of Imphal who watched their homes burn to ashes, or a Methi resident of Churachandpur who became initially displaced people within the first 48 hours of violence get justice? Who will fight their cases and how? Where will the hearing take place, and who will assure security to the guilty or even the families seeking justice? From students who have lost their education to people whose businesses were destroyed, the idea that everyone deserves justice seems almost like a joke. And when injustice becomes the norm, discontent begins to simmer. And discontent, as we have seen, sows the seeds of violence from which we may never recover. At this point, we can only hope Manipur crawls back to normalcy. The path to normalcy, however, will be one full of obstacles that may prove to be insurmountable.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.